up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new live simulcast episode of Game Time here on both the Outlaw Nation
ABC
and the Game Time Sports Channel. That's what's going on here tonight. I felt like we should have some fun tonight. It's a Tuesday night, it's 6 o'clock here on the West Coast, and there is so much to talk about from week 3. So I thought, let's simulcast it. Let's have some fun. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, and for the first time in about 14 years, a proud Commanders fan tonight, joined by Winston A. Marshall there, the king of swag himself, who's, having some trouble there in Dallas. How are you, Winston?
Is that when RG3 got drafted? Was 2010?
2012. That was when he had his rookie season. Yes.
So I was going to say, 12 years, not a full 14.
That's what I said. I said 12. Yeah. I said 12. Yeah.
Yeah, fudge.
Exactly. Well said.
Man, he was giving praises. He was giving a lot of praises last night, as he should, because that was apparently the most accurate game by a rookie quarterback ever.
Don't jump the gun. We're gonna get into all the things, Jayden Daniels. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it.
I'm so mad at him for a different reason. I'll explain. It's not even for a standard Cowboys reason. It's a completely different reason, man.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we're going to get into everything going on in week 3 of the NFL, the big games. The way the show works for some of you may be new. We cover like the top 5 or 6 big games of the weekend. Then we get a little bit into our thoughts of the rest of the games there later on in the show. We're also going to talk a little WNBA playoffs. Was it the poke of doom or was it not the eye poke of doom? We'll get into all of that. We'll get into swatting an NFL coach. Why the hell would you do that? And we're also going to get into a little bit of Favre stuff if there's time by the end of the show. We shall see, depending on how it goes tonight. This is a 90-minute tight show. My co-host has a thing he's got to get to, and I certainly got to get some rest, for God's sakes. But we're going to have fun during these next 90 minutes. If you want to support what we're doing here on the channel, it is on the Outlaw Nation channel, so you can send in Streamlabs. You can send in Superchat. So send in your love, send in your support here for all of us as we're going, for Winston and I, rather, as we're going live here, talking about everything going on in the NFL. So listen, Winston, we've done the show for a very, very long time. And I think you have to give me credit that I rarely try to force the Commanders into the opening block.
You don't, because you've been trash.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm aware of it. I'm not Bill Simmons trying to always talk about the Patriots. I'm not a homer in that way. I try to be fair, but last night, this gentleman right here, took
Wow, you don't even know what your guy looks like. Oh, my God, do all black football players look alike? Rogan, that must be real confusing for you when you watch football.
Well, when they play this good, I don't care. I'll tell you this right now. Jayden Daniels last night, what an incredible performance from him. Even took time after the game to dap up the fans that were there in Cincinnati. What an incredible victory. Literally no one on any of the pundits here predicted the Commanders winning last night. Not even ardent fans like me predicted the Commanders winning last night. I skipped out on 2 screenings, both Megalopolis and Wild Robot, to sit home and watch this game, hoping Jayden Daniels would give me some hope for the future. And damn if he didn't. As Winston was alluding to, he was 21 of 23 for 254 yards, setting an NFL rookie record for completion percentage at 91.3%. He beat out, I can't remember, I think it was Baker he beat out, and Gardner Minshew, who's third on that list, I don't know how, by leading the Commanders through a 38-33 victory. Joe Burrow for the Bengals threw for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns. This was a close game. This was deceptively a closer game than people gave it credit for. But in the end, Jayden Daniels threw one of the most beautiful teardrop throws to Terry McLaurin to essentially ice the game there when it looked like maybe we were going to give the game away to the Bengals. His quote is about how well he played last night. I put in the work. What's done in the dark will always come to the light. I just know that I prepare for these moments week in and week out, and I just have to go out there and play football and execute. Terry McLaurin had 4 catches for 100 yards. He'd been quiet the first 2 games. And Jamar Chase, coming back from injury, had 6 receptions for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, Winston A. Marshall, I know that you're a Cowboys fan. I know you don't like to see the Commanders get a quarterback, but what are your thoughts out of this game, and what are your thoughts on the Commanders and the Bengals?
So I have so many thoughts.
Bring them on, man.
Yeah, I mean, before I even get to the Commanders, because that's the main story here, there was a lot of conversation by multiple people in like the talking head, ESPN, Fox Sports, being like, "No, Burrow is done."
What?
Like, he didn't. I can't remember. I want to say it was maybe Marcus Spears. I could have been Teddy Bruschi. I can't remember which one said it, but was like, this is all Burrow's fault. He didn't do enough, and I'm like, how is throwing 29 for 38, so roughly about 75% accuracy, 324 yards with an average of 8.5 on that, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
With only 2 sacks, and we know that was like a major problem with that O-line is that they have not been protecting him. How is all of that Joe Burrow's fault?
Yeah.
Like, at what point is the defense going to own up to allowing Washington to score 38 points from a rookie quarterback who obviously has proven that he's very good, but why is any rookie quarterback able to put up 38 points on your defense? At what point do we need to actually look at that side of the ball as far as why there's an issue here? Joe Burrow played about as well as you could ask a quarterback. If you put that in any other game, we'll be like, that is a stellar guy. But it's because they're now 0-3 that they're like, this is all Joe Burrow's fault. That's crazy to me.
I agree with you. That's
absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Well, the Commanders have the most efficient offense in the NFL right now in terms of expected points added per drive. Their last 13 possessions, 5 touchdowns, 8 field goals, no punts, no turnovers. They haven't punted since week 1 of the NFL. 2 full games without any punts in the NFL. They did kneel down, so not every drive has led to a score. They've knelt down on some of these drives to end games. But the Bengals last night, also no turnovers, no punts. That's the first time in the Super Bowl era that 2 teams have played each other and there have been no punts and no turnovers. That's an incredible stat, Winston. Really.
And I thank you to the audience who corrected me. It wasn't that Marcus Spears said it. It was Shannon Sharp said it, and Marcus Spears walked off set. He was like, "Are you serious?" Like, he was genuinely upset. Like, and he didn't like walk off angry. He was just like, "You." And he just like went to go look at the wall. Which it's just because Shannon Sharp was like, "Look here, see, if Tom Brady was doing this, Tom Brady would just be out here. He would just win the game." What do you want from Burrow, who marched down the field, got the touchdown? They couldn't get a second onside kick. Like, what do you want from him? On top of the fact that, look at the game last week against the Chiefs. You have the pass interference, but we showed that there was holding happening at the same time. That should have offset. And then we're not even getting the Chiefs yet, but the fact that they had the pass interference against the Falcons, and that didn't get called. So like, you do see. So like, at what point are we not gonna put this on Burrow? When he's doing what he is supposed to do. Like, he doesn't play on both sides of the ball. And when you needed him to march down the field, he did it, and he did it in a time conservative manner where he would have had more than enough time to get it done. But you onside kicks are damn near impossible now based on how the rules are. So it's like, what do you want from him? But I digress. Let's talk about the star of the hour, the man of the hour, Mr. Jayden Daniels. Out here thinking every 2 seconds.
No, that's the wrong one. Sorry. There he is.
Once again, label your damn photos, man.
I'm just joking. There he is, the man of the hour, Jayden Daniels. Go ahead.
But I respect it. Like, he thanked God multiple times. He thanked his prep. He thanked his coaches. He thanked his other players. I think that this is a very humble dude. This is a very, very hard-working dude. 91% completion rate for anybody, especially for over 23 throws, is insane. There is a part of me that, as a Cowboys fan, I should be upset by what this could potentially mean for y'all in the future.
Sure.
I'm not there yet because you're not a threat yet, and we have our own issues we have to worry about. We haven't played you.
Are you insane? Right now, we are the odds-on favorite to win the division. Just put it on the table right now.
You won't. I know the Eagles have problems, but if I had to say it, you're taking second. Like, we'll probably, like, if we flip it all around, maybe we can steal second in the division. But odds are we're probably going to end up third in the division. We'll probably miss the playoff. Just by the nature of starting 1 and 2, they need to do major cleanup. But we're not talking about the Cowboys right now. We're not talking about the Eagles. As far as Jayden Daniels goes, it is scary to think that if he continues on this trajectory and he doesn't end up in a situation where his coach hangs him out to dry and permanently maims him, knock on wood. Let's not even put that in the universe.
Dan Quinn won't do that. He won't do that.
I don't think he will. Dan Quinn did, but to that point, you have got this incredible talent that looks like the reincarnation of RG3. The reason I was mad, I was not mad per se at Jayden Daniels. I was mad at Scary Terry because I was down about 14 points going into this game, but I had Joe Burrow and I had Brian Robinson. And Scary Terry was doing okay. But if you remember, that one touchdown was 55 yards.
Yeah,
so that's 5 points for the actual length of the thing. That's 6 points for the damn touchdown. So that's 11, and then add another 0.5 in there, or add another 0.5 for the reception, 0.5 for the 5 yard. Bro, completely flip shit on a tier. Now I'm down 7, and I'm freaking out because I'm like, okay, they got to march down the field, and they're going, and they miss the damn touchdown on a pass interference, and I'm flipping the out because now I'm like, oh my God, they're not going to be stupid enough to run the ball and the burn clock, but of course they have to score. So because they're not expecting a run, they run it in. I'm flipping. I'm like, oh my God, that's Zach Moss's touchdown. Now they have to get the goddamn onside, or because I need. They're not going to run it with Brian. They're already up. So I really need Joe to throw at least one more pass. I was down 2 points at this point.
Yeah.
Done. So F Scary Terry, not because you're a commander, but because you ruined my shit. I was going to be 3-0, you stupid bastard.
Are you talking about this?
Shut up. I don't even want to see it. You are such an asshole. You are such an asshole.
Oh, look at that catch. I had Terry McLaurin last night. I started him last night, and it was not going well. Then he had the 50-yard catch. This touchdown, I'm going to tell you, if the other guy hadn't had Jamar Chase, I would have won my fantasy matchup. He had Jamar Chase. He won by 0.12 points. The sack of shit. He beat me by 0.12 points.
That's what you get.
I was
Can't have it both ways. Can't have it both ways, baby.
I know.
Can't have the Commanders win and the fantasy win. You get one or the other.
I give a rat's ass about the fantasy win over the Commanders winning. So you're absolutely right. I will take the Commanders every single time.
Nothing, and this one win would have won you the title.
I don't care. It was great to have a magical night. And that's what I want to talk about for me personally, right? As I said at the beginning, like I rarely put the Commanders in the first block because we rarely deserve to be in the first block. Last night, and I saw the tweets, like I saw everybody was in the same place who's been there through the shitty years of Dan Snyder, that diminutive cunt. We are finally in a place where there's magic. And last night, there was something magical. I don't even think this is the reincarnation of RG3. This guy has much more physicality, much more relaxed confidence in himself. And the way he was yelling at Kingsbury, give me the damn play already. That's a confidence way past his years. That man understands, and he does it with a smile. Interception or touchdown, got a smile on his face. He's even keel. He loves the fans, loves the coaches, gives credit where credit is due. This is the quarterback that you sense when you watch an NFL. As long as we watch the NFL, you know the magic ones, man. This kid has the magic touch. And if this is just the third game and he's only getting better from here, it's going to be fun to watch. That being said, please stop running so much on first. Please stop running so much to get those first downs. Please learn to dive. He took a couple of hits last night that I was like, huh! And then last week he took a real hard one. So, like, he's got to stop doing that. That being said, I love that he gets our first downs. Just slide, baby, or dive forward. There's no need to get an extra 2 or 3 yards to cost you an injury. But, bro, his arm is beautiful, and those throws are immaculate. And when's the last time you saw a rookie quarterback throw a throw like that I just showed you, brother? Go ahead.
Herbert. It's just we don't talk about it because
fair point. Fair point.
Herbert, there's a reason why people keep putting him so high up, even though they don't win, is because just by the pure nature of his arm strength and his accuracy, if he is in a good situation, he reminds me of a young Drew Brees, but you've been dealing with a bunch of crappy coaching, and you're hoping that Harbaugh can really help finally turn that stuff around for him. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, a good suggestion. Yeah, Andrew Luck had that thing.
He did, but you asked me the last time. I didn't need to go that far back, in my opinion. Going back, you could also make the argument even sooner. Last year with CJ Stroud, there's actually a couple of those plays where that happened.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah.
Commander's rookie. If that's what you're saying, then by all means, I'll give you that. And truthfully, it was RG3. if that is what you're asking,
you're right. But Winston, I still go back and watch the season of highlights of RG3 every once in a while. I'll watch those 20, 25 minutes. Somebody's done a great compilation on YouTube, and you see the magic of this kid against the Colts, against the Saints, against the Cowboys, against the Vikings with that run that was incredible. Like there were so many magical moments beating the Cowboys to win the division. Like there's so many magical moments under RG3, and then of course Shanahan ruined it.
Short.
Yeah,
and we're going to talk about this a little bit later of how vital the proper staff and the proper organization is for quarterback development for any player really, but especially quarterback because of the pressure that comes with it, because of what is being demanded of you. And very similar to what they say about actors, like, and they're like, oh, they're divas and they're fragile and all this kind of stuff. This is one of those things where you have to be very sound of mind, and having the wrong people guiding you can fully ruin you. And you can see what happens when people get out of crappy situations if they can make full recoveries. And again, we'll get to it. Because me and you were debating this a little bit in DMs this morning.
I had a fun conversation on that one for sure.
but good for y'all. I'm happy for y'all that y'all are out here. It's crazy to me. I didn't realize how many Cowboys were like, I'm going with Dan Quinn, F you. So like you got Noah Brown's over there with him. Which I don't think he had a lot going on per se.
Right. He did some nice work. 29, but nice possession receiver for us. Nice possession receiver, critical catches. And the kid McCaffrey, Christian's brother, the rookie, he did some nice work as well on a 4th and 2. Like there's just this growing belief. You could see it from these young guys, seeing them on the sidelines. Like they have this, faith in Jayden Daniels and belief in him. And Terry McLaurin called that touchdown. He said this in his post-game press conference or interview in the locker room. He's the one that went to Kingsbury and said, dial up the touchdown pass because they're going to send their DB. I'm going to be one-on-one on zero coverage with this guy. I will beat him. And he called the play, and they got the touchdown. So
I mean, here's the confidence. Here's the question, man. Absolutely. Here's the question. I genuinely think I was sad when Quinn left because I was like, nah, you should have let him have the head coaching job and let McCarthy walk. But I think here's ultimately the question. He's now had 2 colossal meltdowns, technically 3 on his watch, Dan Quinn. You had obviously the 2, one against the Niners because he wasn't there the year before that, but one against the Niners, and then obviously the one last year against the Packers, and then his most famous one, 28-3, the Super Bowl. So the ultimate question is: there is no denying that he is a fantastic coach,
head coach.
But just coach. Period. Because as a defensive coordinator, look at what the Dallas. This is why people were so high on the Dallas defense, thinking you got a majority of the same personnel there, and so how much of a change could it be?
Right.
And look at how much worse our defense actually got. So I'm very curious when we get to crunch time. So I think y'all will make the playoffs. Just the way you're playing, I think that'll happen. When you get to crunch time, is Dan Quinn going to be able to keep it together? Or are we going to see a repeat of what happens with him as a head coach where the wheels seem to come off?
I think just like with Andy Reid, who was well known to be the biggest choke artist in the NFL until he got with Mahomes. I think the same thing here. I think Jaden is not going to let him make those meltdowns. I think Jaden is going to be the one that's going to be like, no, or he's going to make the instincts of Dan Quinn. He's going to soften those instincts or make it work what Dan Quinn wants him to do. Nothing against Matty Ice. Matt Ryan is Matt Ryan. Total respect to Matt Ryan. Incredible career. Donovan McNabb was people forget he was an incredible quarterback. Donovan McNabb. Just as good as
hungover though in the Super Bowl.
Well, and he was sick in the Super Bowl.
No. The rumor was he was hungover. That he went out partying with people, and that's why he's throwing up in the huddle.
He's probably at the Diddy party. I don't know. I'm just,
bro.
I would throw up in the Super Bowl if I was at a Diddy party. But anyway, the situation. Look at this.
Pure baby oil. He's throwing up baby oil.
Oh my God. Okay, anyway.
Allegedly.
I'm going to lose. I'm going to go down a
wormhole. Son of a bitch.
Don't start me down those TikTok wormholes. Anyway, but Donovan was an incredible quarterback. People forget how great he was. There were plays he pulled off that even Patrick Mahomes has never pulled off. The difference, but he couldn't quite get there over the hump because I don't think Donovan had that little extra to get Andy over the top. Patrick does, and I feel like Jaden might be in that mold. We'll see, of course. We're still only 3 games into the man's career. We don't know what's going to happen, but like there's a possibility that he will help Dan Quinn get to the mountaintop. Brother, if we win a Super Bowl, I just would like lose my shit. I might do it naked. I might do the show naked.
So. Please don't. Please don't. Save that for the Lady Outlaw. Like literally, she can get you one of those fan like Super Bowl rings, and she could like put it on you. You know what I mean? If you catch my drift, and let that be your little social fantasy. Leave me out of it. I don't want nothing to do with that shit.
Halftime service.
Welcome to a very special episode of Game Time.
Hey, come on now.
Over here on the Outlaw Nation OnlyFans. But yeah, no, I agree. Take it easy about Super Bowl. They're way more dangerous, well put together teams. It's gonna be a long time before y'all do that. Because even look at the Texans. The Texans are still a threat right now, but they've come back down to earth based off of a similar rookie going off and having a coach really dialed in with his players.
DeMarco Ryan's right. Yeah,
you'd have to have a lot of things go in your favor for that to happen, at least this year. Like lot.
No, I'm not even thinking about this year. I was thinking like 3 years from now. We're still building. We still need another wide receiver. Terry is great, but we need another star wide receiver to balance Terry out. And I think that's going to be important. And the defense has to get better. Look, since he scored 35 points, like let's just put that on the table. And they were down there and settled for field goals like 3 times. They were close. So this game could have been an easy win for Cincy by 2 touchdowns. But thankfully, the defense or Joe Burrow missing on some throws, whatever the reason may be, bailed us out and they kicked field goals instead of touchdowns. But we could have easily lost this game. So it's a great victory. It's nice to take it, but now it's like get back to work and let's see what we can do. I'm not thinking Super Bowl this year. That'd be a miracle. But like maybe in 3 years, once we get the right people around it, and free agents now look at Washington as a place they want to go to because they want to play with Jayden Daniels. That's going to be fun to see down the road.
Again, it's week 3.
Yeah.
So the other thing to keep in mind, remember what Baker Mayfield did. And mind you, the problem there was not Baker. The problem was the dumpster fire of an organization that is the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
But 100%. Let's not count our chickens yet, because Baker was doing things that didn't make any sense.
Exactly.
And that's why he got all those commercials. And then the wheels fell off the following year. So let's praise him for what he's done now.
Yeah.
He looks like he is probably going to be your franchise quarterback. He's got to close out the season strong, and we got to hope that he's not, because wasn't he knocked out for like a second in either the first or the second week?
Second game, yeah.
Where they were concerned, maybe a concussion, but they cleared him.
Yeah.
Like, let's let this kid develop. Let's not put too much pressure on him and just be like, that was a really good game. Now let's see you do it again. Or is this Linsanity? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want this to be Linsanity, where like all of a sudden you're like, look at this freedom, and then it just kind of.
Geno Smith is Linsanity. That's
rude.
Daniels.
That's rude.
We all know it. But shame that we lost Austin. What?
Geno Smith's team is 3-0, bitch. You watch your mouth.
They are. Enjoy the first round playoff exit. Austin Eckler with his I'm sad for Austin because he got a concussion last night. I hope he's fine. I hope he gets better, because he's been an essential part of the game, and getting that touchdown really kind of started us on the roll last night. So I hope he recovers and he's back playing for us, because we need running back help. Robinson was fine, but Eckler is a nice little change of pace back that we need back there. So shout out to the Commanders, shout out. And the Bengals, it's sad, 0-3, man. There's only been like one team, I think, in the last 30 years that's made the playoffs, starting out 0-3. So that's a tough situation for the Bengals to be confronting now. We'll see how they carry on, because that division now with Pittsburgh 3-0, that division all of a sudden looks a little bit difficult to qualify for a wild card for when the Ravens are in there as well. But we'll see. Still a long way to go. Long way to go. Yeah. All right, let's move on to our other game. This is Winston's favorite of the weekend. This graphic now does apply, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Here, they barely squeaked by these Falcons, Winston. Oh, my God, this is insane how they keep doing it every week. Mahomes shook off another interception. He threw a couple of touchdowns, and the Chiefs' defense stopped Kirk Cousins and Atlanta twice on 4th down in the closing minutes, preserving a 22-17 victory over the Falcons. And of course, the Falcons were looking to beat the Chiefs after their upset victory over the Eagles last week here. Mahomes threw for 217 yards. He had throws to Rashee Rice, which you see there, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Harrison Butker booted 3 field goals for them to win the game. Cousins was 20 of 29 for 230 yards with a 13-yard touchdown pass to Drake London and a 50-yard completion to Kyle Pitts that set up John Robinson's 1-yard run. This was actually a tough game between the two teams, and I thought the Falcons really had a shot to pull this out, especially because Travis Kelce has just been ass for 3 games now. He only had 4 catches for 30 yards. But in the end, after a controversial no call on a disputed pass interference play, the Chiefs get the victory. What do you take out of this game for both of these teams, brother?
He can't keep getting away with this. He can't keep getting away with it. God, man. Like, it's, I think the frustrating part about it, it reminds me too much of how I felt about the Eagles last year, where I'm like, okay, you're winning these games, but you're not winning these games. You know what I'm saying? If everything that's keeping the Chiefs together, if this is more of a house of cards, because literally you have 12 men on the field, like, technically, what are there, 4 refs? You got 15 men on the field. Like, that's crazy.
Let's take a look at this thing, Winston, because I know you're going to have thoughts on this.
Let me see it, because I've only seen the photos. I haven't seen the actual video.
You haven't seen it in action. Here we go. Oh, let me turn it down. I want to get us a strike. Okay.
Yeah. So you're already gave him a pat down.
Oh,
yeah. You're not even looking at the ball.
You're not
even looking. And the only argument he could have maybe made is his teammate said, "Jump now." But that's not how that works. And if the ref was like, I heard him say jump now, he was doing it because he was told the ball is about to be there.
That is pass interference. He didn't even turn around with
egregious pass interference. Wow. That is egregious. And when is that? I don't know what the timing is of that. When is that play?
Oh, that's near the end of the game. Yeah. So
that's oof. That is crazy to me, man.
Yeah, people comparing the pictures. Where's our boy Sean Brennan? You
thought he would have been here running his mouth. You thought he would have been in here just going off. But lo and behold, here we are.
What's up?
This just in, the Liberty have just closed out the series against the Atlanta Dream, winning 91-82.
Wow.
Looks like Sabrina Nescu had a crazy move to kind of really close stuff out, man.
Wow. I don't like that the first round is 3 games. That does not give a chance for the other team to be a part of
it. The ultimate problem with most of it, man, you got to remember, is A, just the money for it to run in the first place, but also B, they're back ending into, like, the NBA starts in like however many weeks. You don't have access to a lot of these facilities and these stadiums anymore.
Yeah.
So for the time being, I want to say the first 2 series are best of 3, and then the finals is best of 5, I believe.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. And, like, again, obviously, I'm sure they would love to have them be longer.
Yeah,
you just don't.
It should be 5. Yeah.
At the minimum, but they just don't have it.
Well, I mean, that's they've knocked out now Tina Charles and Alicia Gray. They are out of the playoffs now with this loss. So the New York Liberty step forward. And look, they were kind of shaky all year. But maybe they're putting it together at the right time. They were 32-8, but there were stretches where they were taking some shocking losses. I think they lost to the Sparks, right? Were you at that game? They beat the Sparks, beat them, I thought. And so, they're putting it together maybe at the right time, and could be a rematch, Liberty versus Aces in the finals. We will see.
We will see, man. I mean, the Aces lead the Storm by a game. So obviously if the Aces close this out, that's a wrap. But yeah, to know that the Liberty are moving on, and super quick, obviously the Sun demolished the Fever. Like, it was embarrassing. And, like, to that point, this is what somebody said that I thought was interesting.
When you can't see, but yeah, go ahead.
Is what now?
It's tough to shoot when you can't see.
Yeah, sure. But also it's tough to do well in the playoffs when you constantly can't get past, you can't seal the deal. You're a very good Peyton Manning, very good to just all year, and then when it's time, But again, it was smart of the son. If you had a bitch, like Marina Mayberry, like that trade was huge because she came 7 off the bench.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So when you put that in there, the fact that you only have essentially 2 games to figure, you got to figure that out quickly.
Yeah,
and they had a very good defensive plan against Caitlin, and they made her look like what she looked like her first couple of games. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it'll be interesting to see how the rest of these series play out. What the Lynx are up 1 on the Mercury, so Diana Taurasi could be ending her career very quickly. And then that's it for right now on the WNBA front, man.
Let's get back to the NFL. We were talking about the Chiefs. So look,
I don't want to talk about them cheating bastards.
Last year I thought the Chiefs were in trouble, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. Right, every week I thought, okay, they're gonna get found out. This year it feels like a little more realistic. I thought after the first game against the Ravens, like they announced themselves, but the last 2 games have just kind of shown you there's a lot of issues going on the offensive side of the ball. I think defensively, as they showed with those 2 fourth down stops to preserve the game, they're still there. Chris Jones in the defense is still getting the job done. Ironically, now it's the offense that's the issue here. I mean, listen to these statistics. Patrick Mahomes needed 39 attempts to reach 217 passing yards against a bad Falcons defense. His average depth of throw was 5.3 yards on the night, which raised his season-long average of 5.2 yards per True Media. Only Baker Mayfield and Jayden Daniels are throwing shorter passes on average, but his depth of target has been decreasing consistently since 2018. Yes, you can call it because of the 2 deep defenders; those are kind of messing stuff up. But Josh Allen's numbers haven't dropped in that category there. And now Kelce only having 8 total passes caught. He has yet to cross the 100-yard mark in the season, and he's only averaging 0.78 yards per route run, which ranks 46th among tight ends in the NFL currently. And they just lost Marquise Brown, which was their big offseason acquisition for the year on IR. So this is if they pull this off. Man,
Hollywood Brown is out.
Miracle. Yeah. Oh, he's out. Yeah, he's landing on. He said he's expected to miss the entire regular season after undergoing shoulder surgery and landing on IR. Yeah.
Wow, man. I mean, look, there's a couple things to keep in mind, though. I mean, first of all, let's go ahead and give praises to, he doesn't deserve a lot of them, but Dak Prescott with the leading passer with 851 yards. So that's all you got because you're 1-2, you son of a bitch. And again, it's not his fault as much as it is the defense, in my opinion.
I think that's fair. Go ahead.
Like truthfully, that's the main issue is like, what do you want from him when we're still putting up like?
You talking about Dak?
Yeah.
Will you focus on the Chiefs? We'll get to Dak.
I'm trying to. I'm making a point. It's a roundabout point. You got to remember, across the board, passing has been down this year.
Yeah.
If you go and look at the actual, they've been talking about it. The defensive schemes have been putting a kibosh on a lot of passing, and the real stories, the games where we go, holy crap, it has always been a running back. Derrick Henry this week. Right. Unfortunately, Kamara last week. So the Cowboys twice in the center of that. Yeah. Saquon Barkley, 2 out of the 3 weeks, let alone by the simple nature of throwing to him in that one thing in week 2. If you had rushed it instead, then, like he's got to catch that ball. But like the running backs have been the key story here, or the lack thereof. So even when CMC isn't there, the fact that Jordan Mason has stepped up. Yep. So by the Chiefs in the nature of losing Pacheco, which they really did say, not having Pacheco really messed them up, and you had a decent kind of output out of your kind of revolving door.
Yeah, Carson Steele had 72 yards, and Samaje Perine had 6 carries for 25 yards. Yeah.
So like a decent sort of situation, but there's something about having a Pacheco which feels very feels like CMC light, where it's the same thing where he can power through you, but he's got really good hands. So that's like a nice kind of like reserve valve there. The other part of it, I know you don't love the Swifties as things go.
I've got no problem with the Swifties themselves. I have no problem with the Swifties themselves.
But have you seen how some of it by the Swifties and some just other people where people are like, I think that Patrick and Travis are fighting. I think they ladies got them out here. They're not friends no more because Travis, it had only 4 for 30 in this one.
Well, he didn't show up. She didn't show up for this game.
Well, but if I remember correctly, she's really only been going to the home games. Didn't they have 2 home games previously?
She can afford to go to the games on the road.
It's not that she can't, but remember all of the violence that's been happening surrounding her. So the dance studio and then the threat in Europe. Part of what I've heard is going on that there is elevated security already set up in Kansas City, knowing she might be there. And so it would be a pain in the ass for everybody to, if she wants to go to another one, on top of the fact that I'm sure she's tired, bro. She's been touring for 2 years.
She's still not done.
She's not done. She's on a hiatus. She's probably in practice. She was like, look, baby, I love you. It's the Falcons. You'll be fine.
I need to sleep. Come on now.
But yeah, here are Travis's numbers through the first 3 games. He's got 3 receptions off of 4 targets for 34 yards in game 1. 1 reception off of 3 targets for 5 yards in game 2, and then 4 receptions off of 5 targets for 30 yards in game 3. So like something is off. And the one thing that I will say though, all this with you is like, he's clearly mad at him. Why wouldn't you throw it at him? And like someone pointed out, I was like, well, the one play they love to talk about where Travis looks like he's open, very clearly Patrick has crossed the line of scrimmage. If he does it, that's a legal forward pass. You're losing 10, 15 yards, whatever that penalty is for that, and lost it down. Yeah. So he faked doing it, but he ran to the outside because he's like, I can't throw anymore. And he knows that and all that kind of stuff. I genuinely think what Andy Reid is doing, because what did we say was the biggest issue that the Chiefs had last year?
The receiving core.
Receiving core. And what were they doing?
Dropping balls.
Dropping balls wouldn't get open. Mainly dropping balls being the biggest issue. So it makes complete and total sense if you think Worthy is going to be your Tyreek Hill replacement, if Rasheed is going to, like, as far as like deep threat, if Rasheed is supposed to be, as at least for this year before he goes to jail, if he's supposed to be your like number 1 receiver here, and looking how he's cooking, you're trying to get yourself in a position that when it's actually time to go, everybody is ready instead of waiting until the end here, because to that point, Travis will still be Travis. Now, on top of that, Travis is getting older, and there is talks that he might be retiring soon.
Let's tell the truth here, man. You're being really nice, and I appreciate that, and that's why you're on the show, because you're the nicer approach to these things.
Okay, right? Go ahead. What you want to say? Truth.
What have I been saying since we were Collider Game Time or whatever, Game Sports, whatever, Sports Time, whatever it's called?
A long time ago.
Right. What have I been saying? If you do commercials, too many commercials, too many distractions, you cannot focus on the game. This motherfucker is doing game shows. This motherfucker is producing movies. This motherfucker is acting in movies. He's dating Taylor Swift. There is too much distraction. People think the NFL, I think people deceptively think the NFL is easy because they see some of the most amazing athletes that God has ever granted or gifted with incredible talent to make the game look easy. It is not easy. It is millimeters, micrometers sometimes that make you great versus just good or terrible. And so when you're not focused, when you got too many things going on to distract you, you're not going to be as committed to the game as you have been in the past. It's just different. What did Mickey say to Rocky? You got domesticated. That's what happened. He got domesticated, man.
I mean, look, do I think that it is playing some sort of a factor? Sure.
Yeah.
But I honestly think it's the age thing more so than it is the commercials. And the reason for that is just this, the fact that he had already been flirting with the idea of retirement.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so he's been setting himself up for what his next step is. And the only reason it sounds like he really wanted to do this is they wanted to do something that had never been done before and try to repeat.
Yeah.
And I think there's a high probability if they do or don't three-peat, he might walk away after this year.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I would venture a guess that he's admitted that the slow start is on me. I need to do better. But I wouldn't necessarily say that is a distraction, sure. Yeah. But you can go back and find examples of people that were doing commercials and they don't self-destruct. Odell Beckham Jr., especially after that crazy catch, was doing commercials out the ass and was producing out the ass. It's that Eli got bad. Then he left. So then he got out of there and went to Cleveland. But Cleveland was a dumpster fire of an organization. When he finally got to Los Angeles, he was still doing, the Met Gala and all that other stuff, but became a key component for their Super Bowl win. He just went down after the second quarter with the torn ACL.
Yeah.
So like, you can do it, but I would venture it's both age and maybe he's already almost good to walk away. He's not going to this year, but I could see him when this year is over, win or lose, being like, I'm done.
Well, you might have an excellent point here, man, because you look at the tight ends now. Mercedes Lewis is still in the league. I don't know if people know this. He's still in the league playing for Chicago.
Really?
He is 40 years old, Mercedes Lewis. 40.
That's crazy.
That's the oldest. And then right after him, it is Kelce. And then it's Zach Ertz, those guys, and Taysom Hill. Those are in the 34, 35 range. So you might have a legitimate point here, brother, because tight ends don't usually go long because it's a tough job, all that blocking, running
blocking
out. You're a bigger, taller dude, so the hits take more of a toll on you. So, yeah, so you might be right. There might be a lot of factors that are in play right now with the situation with Travis Kelce, for sure.
I think on like it's not a great year for tight ends right now.
Yeah,
you just like look at it like Goddard is doing all right with Goddard's doing all right with 239 and a touchdown. Like that's pretty good. He's number 8th overall in receiving, tied with Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Then you have the next tight end on the board is Brock Bowers with 197, no touchdowns. And then the next tight end after that is Mike Gesicki at 33 with 156. Right. And then finally Isaiah Likely for that crazy game. But like the people that are really mad they're really mad at like Mark Andrews, who just doesn't look like himself again.
The Lions guy, I have the Lions guy, and I picked up Isaiah Likely. And he's giving me dick for 2 games. And maybe the reason I lost by 0.12.
No, he's giving you Diddy for 2 games.
He's giving me baby oil Diddy for 2 games. Because when I watch him, I feel like I'm getting in the butt. That's for sure. Yeah, that's what it is when I watch Laporta. It's just no good. Or Isaiah Likely record. And Laporta is not getting much either, like 2-3 points a week. So, and there's not much out there. Cole Kmet's available. Goddard is available. Maybe I'll pick him up. So we'll see. With that whole situation. By the way, there's 2 Haskells in here. There's a Haskell 420 and a Haskell 69. So is this a father and son situation? What's going on here? Does Haskell have kids? Is this a cousin?
Maybe he's watching with one account on Game Time and one account on Outlaw Nation.
Well, this is his, double entendre. His tight ends get a lot of penetration for sure. Hello, Haskell. Yikes. Calm your boy down, Haskell 420. Calm your boy down.
But that's it. I just think it's something to be recognized. The tight ends are not like you normally have a handful of them that like are in like the top 20 to 25, and it's like 2 dudes.
Yeah. Fair point. William Harrell says he could catch the ball if not for all the baby oil. That's for sure. All right.
Jesus.
All right, let's move on to this Cowboys Ravens game. This was actually, I thought this was going to be a blowout, and then the Cowboys almost damn near won this game. Derrick Henry, not Travis Henry. Derrick Henry had 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson accounted for 2 scores here, and the Ravens held on for a 28-25 victory. Derrick Henry forced 12 total missed tackles in this game. That's the second most by any player in a game this season. The Ravens scored touchdowns on their first 2 drives, and they were ahead 28-6 before Dak Prescott and the Cowboys were able to make some noise. And then, like I said, they damn near almost won this thing. Lamar was 12 of 18 for 182 yards with a 13-yard score. Prescott was 28 of 51 for 379 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the running game has got to be the issue here, right? Winston, you're not getting anything from the running game.
The literal issue that we had, the reason we got shellacked so hard all season when we lost games, and then ultimately in the blowout to the Packers, we could not stop the run. And we could not run. With anything doing with just straight running the football, we were terrible at, because Tony Pollard, as you are seeing now in Tennessee, he's not the every down rough and tumble guy. He's that dude that the change of pace, he reminds me of Eckler, but a little bit more like nimble. Like, not that Eckler isn't nimble, but like Eckler kind of sometimes the way he runs feels like a little bowling ball, feels like a bowling ball. Tony is a lot more kind of scat back type situation. So making him the number 1, that clearly didn't work. So now what do you do in the offseason? You piss all your time away not paying Dak and CD. You don't go get anybody to help with the run defense, and you don't go get running backs. You go get Ezekiel Elliott, which I love Zeke, But Zeke ain't Zeke no more, bro.
Nope.
He's
that guy's
not.
gassed. That guy's gassed. Yeah.
The only thing that I would say Zeke is really good for is he's at this stage. He's good for pass protection, and he's a locker room guy because he's Dak's best friend, and everyone in that locker room respects him. But as far as like the workhorse, those days are gone.
Yeah.
And so when that's the case, how are you going to be able to lock stuff up? Because then you go against the monster running backs, the CMCs, the Derrick Henrys, the Alvin Kamaras. Like, let me look at our schedule because I just to see what running backs we got to deal with. So the Giants, I'm not worried about that. That's probably going to be a win. The Steelers, they're playing really well, but their run game isn't great. So I could see us winning that too. So we win the next two, I would say, but then we lose to the Lions, we lose to the Niners, we lose to the Falcons, we lose to the Eagles. Like, depends on Mixon's health. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally see a 2-game winning streak and then a 1, 2, 3, 4 game slide. Like, I hope that's not the case, but I'm going just off of the logic of how is the run game for the team.
Yeah.
And that is all you need to know about how they're going to fare, because that's where we keep getting our ass whooped.
Right. But also on defense, brother. I mean, you guys have allowed 120 points in your last 3 home games. Right. That ain't going to win you many games. So
sure, but how
that's under 2 different defensive coordinators, by the way. So
no, I know, but I guess my question is to that, and that's where I would follow that up, is where is that coming from? Are there issues on passing? Yeah, but a lot of those, if you watch, that's from play action. Because the running is so lethal, then all of a sudden they're like, fine, just stack the hell out of the box because we can't do anything about it. And it's like, cool, you just left Rashid Shaheed wide open for a 70-yard touchdown. Like, it's
a good point. Excellent point.
Because it's not just Henry. Obviously, it's Henry too, but then you have now what they've been trying to do with Lamar and like have that option. Oh, actually, Lamar's going to run it on you, because Lamar didn't really. If let me go back to this, I don't think Lamar had a very good passing game, if I remember correctly.
It was 100 and something yards. Yeah, 12 or 15 for 182 yards. Yeah,
dude, it's bad. Like, you threw the 1 touchdown to Rashad Bateman, but only 182, man. Like that. Like, I mean, obviously, when you combine that with your overall and the fact that you had 2 touchdowns to your name, I mean, sure. But 12, throwing the ball 12 of 15. How are you not getting at least 20 throws in?
He ran 14 times. 14 times.
That to me, what worries me for the Ravens. You got to win off of us, because our weakness is probably your strongest player in Derrick Henry at this moment.
Right.
If you don't learn how to truly get Zay involved, Isaiah involved, Mark Andrews involved, if you don't start airing that ball out, again, people will just stack the box, and the better run defense teams will shut you down.
Yeah.
And that is where the Ravens are going to run into trouble, is that we need to see the Lamar Jackson that can stand in the pocket and deliver, or you pull a Patty where, like, sure, you pull out of the pocket, but you don't immediately run the ball. You do some magic, and then you find a good pass that you can make it happen. That the Ravens are going to be in a lot of trouble if Lamar doesn't figure out how to do that. And again, I don't know if that is a Lamar issue or if it genuinely is that line.
Yeah. Yep. Well, as it stands right now, Washington is first place in NFC East by point differential here. So I'll take it. But the Cowboys, you never know. You got the Giants, you got Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a conceivable world where you beat the Giants and you don't win again until you play the Giants again at home. Like, there is a possibility.
Yeah,
and that's a tough situation, because I mean, those are good running backs on all those teams. You got to play Saquon again.
The only wins that I feel very confident about are both Giants games. It's 2 more wins.
Yeah.
The Panthers, that's 3 wins.
Maybe. Hey.
No, I'm not. Yes, Dalton's back. I'm not worried about the Panthers. That's 3. That's 3.
Back again.
That's 3 wins. I think we can maybe steal 1 from you guys, just by the nature of a rookie quarterback, and we know the team well enough. The Eagles, it depends on what Jaden Hurts you get.
Jalen Hurts,
Jalen Hurts. Sorry, I said Jaden. Jalen Hurts. Jalen and Jaden. That's gonna be a problem. It really depends on what Jalen Hurts you're gonna get, because he is still a turnover machine. He is still. I think does he still lead the league in turnovers?
Who? Jaden?
Jalen
Hurts.
And in regards to like since last season, he may not lead it now, but if you throw last season in there, Let's see. We'll go to passing. I'll check really quick.
By the way, how incredible is it that the NFC East, 3 out of the 4 quarterbacks are black? Like, shout out. Daniel Jones, retire, you bastard.
Retire, just go away. So it's Richardson with 6.
You're taking a black job. Daniel Jones, you're taking a black job.
Oh, my God. They wanted Caleb Williams up there, man, but they didn't think he was going to be there. So, Richardson's got 6. Levis has got 5. Goff had that horrible game, so he's got 4. But Jalen is tied for 3rd in interceptions with Goff, Mahomes himself, Bo Nix, and Caleb Williams. So again, when you throw that in with what he was doing last year, he still leads the league pretty sizably in turnovers. He has got to fix that, bro, because that'll cost the Eagles games. Like Saquon's not going to bail you out every time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Dak Prescott right now leads the league as a quarterback, leads the league in passing yardage, 851 yards, 9 above Brock Purdy. And Geno Smith is 3rd somehow. But yeah, that's the situation there when you look at
somehow you quarterback. Some goddamn name on Geno Smith's name. I'm gonna respect on his name. I'm not gonna do this, bro.
I can't do it.
I'm not gonna let you do this.
All right, let's move on.
Seahawks, bitch.
Let's move on to Rams house. SoFi here. The Rams somehow, I was laughing at the Rams, with the way San Francisco was just destroying them in this game. Let me throw some things out here because the Rams came back and won 27-24 at the end. Coming into the game, the Rams were coming off a 31-point loss last week. They were missing their top 2 receivers who went out injured earlier in the week. They fell behind San Francisco by 14 points in the second half. San Francisco with a vaunted defense they supposedly have. And they still trailed by double digits midway through the 4th quarter, and they still won the game. And even with San Francisco having a monstrous game from Jawan Jennings with 11 catches for 175 yards, 3 touchdowns, which are the most touchdowns he's scored in 2 years combined in one game. He surpassed that here. And Brock Purdy played a hell of a game, 292 yards there in what he was able to do. Yes, the 49ers are missing McCaffrey and Kittle, but the Rams didn't have Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Tyler Higbee, yet they still found a way to come back. And this is the 2nd straight victory that the Rams have had over the 49ers. This McVay Shanahan thing is for real, man. They just know
he's got his numbers so bad.
It's like the stepbrothers, man. They're serious, legitimately, man.
Oh, you know what it is? You didn't play Pokemon. You were too old for that, weren't you?
Yeah, too old for Pokemon.
Okay. So for my OG Pokemon fans, I'm sure you remember the whole deal when you come out the gate is you pick your start in red and blue, you pick your starter Pokemon. If you take the water type, your rival takes the grass, being like, instantly got one on you, but you win, right? If you're winning the game, you beat him. And then you go on and his Pokemon are always like a good 5 to 7 levels higher than yours, but you typically, again, for the game to progress, you beat him. Yeah. What this feels like is that the Niners stacked out the ass on their defense. Your coach had got you to the Super Bowl how many times in a row and whatnot. And then here come little old you. You picked up your little Pikachu at the start of the game, and you just electrocuted the hell out of these over and over and over and over. And McVay just owns Shanahan.
He really does.
Owns him. Yeah. And real talk, I hope when Matthew Stafford left the stadium, I know he had to say the pleasantries to Brock Purdy, but I hope when he started to walk away, he goes, "This is what a champion looks like." I really hope that he did that to him, because that shit, God damn it, how do you blow that game?
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. This was rough, man, because I mean that drop from the San Francisco receiver, that was a huge drop. I mean, I thought for sure they had that thing and they were going to get it squared away, and then he dropped the ball. Purdy put the ball perfectly for him to catch it, and he dropped that ball. And
what are we talking about?
That to me was the situation in the game that turned the game around when he dropped the ball there right at the end. So it's just so frustrating.
Was that Ronnie Bell that did that? Or
yeah, Ronnie Bell, when he had, Brock Purdy put that ball right where the defender could not catch it, which was behind the defender's helmet. Bell pulled off and put his hands out there and then dropped the ball. And that was just such a surprise to see that happen.
And I know that people are like, oh, but like these are all of our second and third men up. Okay, again, the two strongest weapons on the Rams are nowhere to be found. So miss me with that. They also don't have Aaron Donald anymore, who was the literal lifeblood of the Rams defense. All of that being taken into consideration, and you still got a 175-yard, 3-touchdown game from Jawan Jennings and a Jordan Mason who has been doing God's work. Out here was still 77 on 19. Like, come on.
And keep going. Like, the 49ers had 25 first downs in the game, 425 yards of offense. Purdy, with his stats from this week, ranked 4th among all week 3 starters in EPA per pass play. And they produced an offense in week 3 against the Rams that ranks in the 93rd percentile of offenses over the last 2 seasons without McCaffrey, Samuel, or Kittle in here. And you got to take a look at something else, and that is Shanahan fired defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. Remember last year people were complaining about the 49ers defense and Steve Wilks like he was being out-schemed or whatever, and it was the offense that was bailing him out. But he replaced him with Nick Sorensen, and they went from 11th in EPA to 24th. And they went from 13th in success rate to 25th over 3 weeks. So Shanahan, and this is the 5th time Shanahan has blown a double-digit lead, which is only in the 4th quarter, which is only matched by John Harbaugh's 5 blown leads since 2017.
Jeremy is still calling Brock Purdy Hawkeye. I mean, look, man, here's the only thing that I got to say. Like, honestly, it's an overall team failure because you're up 21-7.
How do you drop that, bro?
Play that one more time. I wasn't looking.
How do you drop that, bro? That is literally in your hands.
That is the point at which you go. You are the 3rd or 4th receiver on the roster. You have to be the 4th.
Yeah.
But like, again, how much are you going to shit on Purdy like that? Like, sure, I'm sure he had a couple, but he was 22 of 30, 292, 3 touchdowns, and only took 1 sack. Yeah. So at what point, like, do we go, nah, man? Because again, Purdy doesn't play defense. You were up 21-7, and you allowed them to then go essentially 20 points to your 3. What are we doing? Yeah. Well, like, what are we doing? There is a point at which we just have to look at the Niners where it's like, are you the new Bills from the 90s? Are you going to be the team that perennially is like, we're always in the mix? We go to Super Bowls, but you never do shit with it.
Wow, that's a fair. I hadn't put them in that group, but because I think they're more ferocious than the Bills, but the Bills
worked. Do you remember that Bills team?
That team
used to abuse people.
Yes, you're right.
And that's
Cali. Oh my God.
How many NFC championship games and how many Super Bowls have they been to in the last like 6 or 7 years? But they can't do shit.
That's a fair point, man. I mean, the Eagles went through that run under Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb. They went to like 4 or 5 straight NFC championships, so 4 out of 5 straight NFC championship games, and only got to the Super Bowl once. So that is a fair point.
My favorite thing. I have a friend. She has made the decision that she was born and raised in Orange County.
Yeah.
She didn't really care for football like that. She was more of a basketball girl. She's a big Kansas fan.
Okay.
But she's now into football pretty heavy. She made the decision, I'm going to be a Niners fan. I'm like, what? Like, you are from LA. The Rams are here. If you even want to take the Chargers, they're here. All your friends hate the Niners. Why? She's like, well, one, I'm kind of I like being contrarian, so whatever.
Sure.
But then the other part, she was like, they're California's team. And then this game came on, and I was like, are they California's team? Because guess what? The Rams and the 49ers in the last decade have both gone to the Super Bowl twice, and one of them got a ring, and the other one, the other team has not gotten a Super Bowl win since the 80s. So what are we talking about?
Good point. I think Matt Stafford, what he pulled in that game is like that old man that shows up to the basketball court and just rains threes on you, and you go, what the fuck is going on here? That's exactly what Stafford. This was the old man victory. Like, he knew he kept the team in shape. He kept the team believing. Shanahan, McVay schemed some stuff up, and he went out there and pulled it off. So shout out to him. And that's a veteran game he won. That's a veteran thing he did.
It was. Real quick before we move on, I didn't even recognize this.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk made up over half of the missed passes from Purdy. He had 10 targets and caught it 5 times.
5. Yeah.
Dude, he is so bad so far this season. And again, this is where you could look at the camp stuff, because I've been saying that about CD. Part of it is that people are like, we know CD is your major threat, so we're going to put a bajillion people on you. And without Ferguson to take some of the pressure off in game 2, that didn't help. But it's clear not being in camp is affecting stuff, because he is not catching these balls and doing what he got paid all this damn money to do.
Yeah. Agreed. What's this Planet Yam says no Rocha, the Bills. Yeah, I know they went to 4 straight fucking Super Bowls. I'll tell you who they lost to. The Giants, my Skins, and then the Cowboys twice. I know they went to 4 Super Bowls. I was talking with the Eagles had gone to 4 out of 5 NFC championships, man. Try to listen with your ears, my man. All right, let's move on to Saquon Barkley's 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, lifting the Eagles over the Saints, who look like Nebraska from the 1980s, putting up 70 points a game here. They shut him down 15-12. They showed you the actual car. They showed you actually what he is. He only went 14 of 25 for 142 yards. Kamara got 87 yards, but on 26 carries here. Krugalev got himself 6 passes for 86 yards, but Jalen Hurts was 29 of 38 for 311 yards. He scrambled for 25. He did turn the ball over twice in the first half, once in the end zone. There by Tyrann Mathieu in the end. Honey Badger intercepted that thing and then lost a fumble on a sack. But this was a pretty even game, and the Eagles came in. They needed to win this game after blowing, and they blew that Atlanta game last week. So shout out to them. And apparently one of their DBs was heard screaming in the locker room. That's who Carr is. That's exactly who Carr is. They're pretenders. We're contenders.
Bro,
we just showed it. So
this is what's funny to me is that my 2 best friends that are Saints fans, they hate Dennis Allen and they hate Derek Carr because they've seen it happen before.
Right.
Because Derek Carr's biggest issue has been he got lucky that he played our really shitty defense. His biggest issue is anytime he gets within the red zone, he self-destructs.
Yeah, 100%.
If he's outside the red zone, he's actually pretty good because there's enough space in there to do what you need to do for like deep passes for touchdowns. But the minute he gets in the red zone, it's all of a sudden he's like, and so like you said, this is definitely that car that at CarMax, you're like, ooh, she's got some miles on her, but she drive well, got all the features I want. And the whole time the salesman's like, please just buy the fucking car because I know lemon. Please buy the motherfucking car. And so the minute, because the number of people that said, I picked up their car, then this nigga went for 142, a touchdown and an interception. He didn't do shit for me. Like, that's because Derek Carr is not the guy.
He's not your guy. No, he's not the guy. We got to bring back an earlier moment from the show. We have our friend here. Let's take a look at this pass interference that was not called one more time here.
Trash.
We see Kyle Pitts there getting wide open, and that is pass interference.
Trash.
So
trash. I'm so trash.
The Chiefs got away with that. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, good to see you, Sean. We talked about the Chiefs already and tore them apart for sure. I mean, this is pretty incredible stuff by the Eagles to pull it together and get the victory. This is a professional victory. Like, this team came in riding high and they ground them into dust and let them only have 12 points. They needed to do that. And now we'll see how this motivates the Eagles going forward, but a good victory for them overall. And it's a wake-up call for Derek Carr and that entire Saints team, dude.
I think the other thing that this really shows is that it really was never Saquon's fault in New York. The only issue in New York was that he kept getting hurt, and you could make an argument that may have had something to do with the fact that since that O-line was kind of wonky anyway, put into crappy positions, let alone you are all of the offense. So that's going to put you up for a situation of getting hurt. But this just goes to show why Saquon's that dude. That's 2 games of over 140 yards and multiple touchdowns. Because week 1, wasn't it like 160 something and 3 touchdowns? In this game, 147 and 2. Like, bro, let me just open it up. I just want to know what the actual numbers are, because this is crazy. So he had, because I was looking at overall yardage for this, and this is just showing rushing. So this week, 100 off of 17 carries, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns.
You mean Saquon? Yeah.
Saquon, yes, Saquon.
Yeah.
95 yards on the ground last week against Atlanta. And then against Green Bay, He had 109 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns. But then if you include stuff through the air, he had another 23 yards in the air against Green Bay plus another touchdown.
Yeah.
And then he had 21 yards in the air against Atlanta. He didn't really catch the ball a lot. Maybe they're like, you know what? No, we're throwing the ball to you. You drop it in the third moment. But clearly Saquon is a star. That might be the greatest acquisition we have seen out of any team this offseason. That might have been genuinely the greatest acquisition we saw this offseason that's already paying dividends. I like the pickup of Derrick Henry. But based on, Lamar preferring to be in shotgun and Derek preferring to be in I or jumbo, that's going to run into a little bit of an issue. So I think Saquon fits a little better immediately in the Eagles offense versus, Derek over there in Baltimore. So,
Saquon has 351 yards rushing. Jordan Mason is second with 324.
Because of that first game, bro.
Exactly.
First game was crazy.
Derrick Henry vaulted into fifth because of that game against the Cowboys because he was not going to.
Stupid.
He was not going to.
So stupid.
He wasn't going to smell top 5 if it wasn't for that game against the Cowboys.
That was stupid.
Then it's J.K., then it's Alvin Kamara, and then Derrick Henry in the top 5 there. But I'm done with this game. You want to move on to the Vikings?
Yeah,
okay. Let's move on to the Vikings. The Vikings, for God's sakes, are 3-0. Kirk Cousins' former team here with a 34-7 signature victory early in the season here against these Texans. Sam Darnold, that's right, Sam Darnold threw 4 touchdowns in this game. He matched his career high. He went 17 of 28 for 181 yards without a turnover. And CJ Stroud was intercepted twice and sacked 4 times for this victory, which is pretty incredible. I mean, listen, I know Brian Flores is suing the NFL. I know some people may not be happy with Brian Flores and the comments he made about what's his face that owns the Dolphins tanking, but his defensive schemes, I've been studying him over the last few weeks. Like, people have been talking about him. I've been looking in. It is incredible what he's able to do to these quarterbacks and kind of mess them up mentally with the things that he's doing. So what a great victory. And Sam Darnold, of all people, bro, it is 3-0.
I think that there's a couple things that come to mind with a lot of this. We still have our big topic about organizations messing with quarterbacks.
Sure.
But I think the first is we saw, I think that Caleb Williams probably put a burn book curse on CJ Stroud, because you remember people were like, you could see his face when he was like, hey man, keep your head up. Like, you just got to whatever. Some people were like, I thought he was just genuinely giving advice, but some people were like, it feels a little sunning of him, because it's like, bro, you're I want to say that they actually are the same age. You only have 1 year of him in the league. You had an incredible year. Did he won Rookie of the Year, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he won Rookie of the Year and then went straight to
all of that deserves, like, but talking to him almost like you Tom Brady. Hey man, look, you're a good young quarterback. You're gonna do the damn thing. Just keep your head up, man. It's okay. Like, I can see Caleb was like, this is the worst bitch I've ever met. And then all of a sudden he kind of self-destructed here a little bit.
I mean, he didn't know what to do, CJ. He was so frustrated at the end of the game, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, what Sam Darnold is doing is pretty damn impressive. But I think that speaks more to the fact that the Vikings were already a good team last year. The wheels came off once you lost Kirk Cousins, because that was your franchise quarterback.
Good point.
And I understand them moving on, because you're like, bro, you tore an Achilles. People don't normally come back from that super healthy. So you're gonna move on, and that's why you went and got JJ. And obviously, he unfortunately tore his ACL. So fortunately, Darnold has stepped up, but that just goes to show this is a very well coached team.
Yeah,
and they get the job done. Next man up is a real motto that they have. So I think that is something that needs to be commended, because think about the fact that it didn't stay that way.
Yeah,
what's his name? The NASA scientist / quarterback, the backup that got traded out of No.
The guy at Harvard, or who are you talking about?
No. Bald-headed black dude that was in Arizona, got traded to Vikings, and like the same week he got there on Tuesday, they played on Thursday or some ridiculous thing, and won the Josh Dobbs won the damn game.
Right. Yes.
And won the game. And I think a lot of that is Dobbs like being smart and being, okay, let me try and figure this out real quick. But the Vikings are a well-coached team.
Yeah. I like the coach of the Vikings. I like Kevin O'Connell. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. He understands what's going on here. And look, this guy was a bust in 2 other franchises, quote unquote, a bust. And he's gotten them to 3-0 here. Sam Darnold has thrown for 657 yards and a league high 8 touchdowns while completing 67.9% of his pass attempts. By the way, the kid's 27. He is not some 24-year-old. He's 27, been in league for a bit, and he is the first quarterback in Vikings history to win his first 3 games of the season. That includes Kirk Cousins, Fran Tarkington, Dante Culpepper, Brett Favre. There's a lot of incredible Vikings quarterbacks who have not been able to start the season 3-0, and he has done it, throwing multiple touchdowns in that time. So incredible stuff, dude.
I have my stance on it, but let's that's I think that's enough. Like, unless there's something else you want to say with this game, we should probably do the break and the best of the rest.
Yeah. So the Vikings split Stroud 14 times, and he only averaged 5 yards per drop back. So that's a pretty tough situation for him, but we'll see how he bounces back. All right, let's take a quick break. And on the other side, we'll get to the rest of the games and then answer your questions here right after this. All right, let's get to it. Well, there we go. Let's get to it, Winston. We got a bunch of games to run through real quick. Josh Allen threw for 4 touchdowns last night as the Bills routed the Jags 47-10. Trevor Lawrence out there looking for a new job already. Andy Dalton went 26 of 37 for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns to lead the Panthers over the Raiders 36-22. Justin Fields and the Steelers moved to 3-0 with a 20-10 win over what looked like a good Chargers team initially. Aaron Rodgers led the Jets to a 24-3 victory over the Patriots. Who cares? Bo Nix ran for a TD, and Lutz kicked 4 field goals to lead the Broncos to a 26-7 victory over what was supposedly a damn good Buccaneers team. Malik Willis led the Packers to a 30-14 rout here, and rookie Malik Neighbors caught 2 touchdown passes from Daniel Jones as the Giants beat up the Browns 21-15. The Colts rushed for 3 touchdowns in a 21-16 victory over the Bears. Seahawks rolled 24-3 over the Dolphins there as Miami lost another quarterback in the game, and Jared Goff threw 2 touchdowns as the Lions defense slowed down Kyler Murray. They bounced back with a 20-13 victory over the Cards. What do you want to say about these games? What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Shohei Ohtani, who is the first man to join the 50-50 club, baby. You want to talk about generational talent? That's the GOAT. That's a goddamn baseball GOAT. He's proven that shit.
He's not a GOAT. The GOAT is 1 season.
He needs to hit, but he's been doing this already. That's why he got the contract he got, bro. The only thing he needs is just hard to win a World Series. That might be, in my opinion, the hardest title to win.
It wasn't that hard for Derek Jeter, but okay, sure. Go ahead.
Well, because the Yankees have endless money and just throw whatever.
So do the Dodgers. What are you talking about? Oh my God.
But they just got him. So I think
they have $1 billion budget, the Dodgers. It's
something like that.
Yeah.
But he just got there. So now they're in prime position to go and do some runs on that, which would be crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. But real talk, if we're talking about these games, good for Andy Dalton. There's a big rumor that Devontae Adams is done. And then he's going to get traded out of there. And there's talks about him trying to push his way over to the Jets, go play with his old QB,
really,
which would make that a crazy core of what Adams, Wilson, Lazard. Yeah. That'd be pretty crazy if the Jets were able to land him. Other than that, Malik Neighbors is a monster.
He is
absolute monster. And again, put some goddamn respect on Geno Smith's name. And I think the funniest meme that I saw was this one. I'm going to screen share with you.
Okay.
This had me dying because you know what the number right now, what the number 5 podcast in the world is right now, right?
What's that?
Talk Tour with the Haley chick. Someone said, can't beat the Hawk without the tour.
Oh my God.
They lost 24-3.
Oh my God. That is horrible. That is horrible. What's the one you sent me? I'm looking up the one you sent me while you're talking. Go.
That's a good question. I sent you a lot of stuff that I just thought was going to be kind of interesting. I mean, one about the topic we're going to talk about a little bit later. One about the pass interference bullshit that got called on the Bengals, but didn't get called on that. And then that one as well.
The other man in the Dolphins jersey and have thrown a football with a spiral at least once in your life. He show up to practice at Baptist Health Training Complex this Wednesday night in Petrus. I like this comment. Dolphins practice week, invincible. Yeah, basically. It's a bad situation right now, bro. A bad situation. So yeah.
Oh man, but you saw the other thing that was really funny. I sent you one more about the WNBA really quick because Dejanay Carrington played Nalissa on the Fever, and someone goes, imagine hitting the love of your life with a step back three for the championship, and then having to sleep next to him that night.
Yeah, can't play around with this. She's like, I'm sorry, babe. Sorry, babe.
Yeah, you scroll down.
Yeah, look at that.
That's the only part. Oh, maybe.
Is this what you were thinking? Oh no, wait.
No, here I can screen share again. Hold on, I got it right here.
Is this the one? Right?
Yeah, someone literally saying, imagine exactly that. The hitting the love of your life with a step back three for the dub.
I like this one. Imagine her going home and you going to celebrate with the win with the team.
Ooh, babe. Can I go to the bring your ass home? Like,
okay.
But either way, man, these other games, like they're all very interesting. To see that Rodgers looks a little bit more like Aaron Rodgers if they really go on a tear, because the only team of any sort of import in that division right now is the Bills. If that Jets defense can stand up against, because they didn't play yet, right?
No.
Yeah. So if that Jets defense can do what it's supposed to do against Josh Allen, and if Aaron Rodgers looks like this the rest of the season, that's going to be a scrap for who wins that division, man, because that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, because the Patriots are doormats right now. So yeah, it's a great, and the Dolphins without Tua, they're just not good right now.
Yeah.
For me, it's amazing to see. We watched the game long enough, and every season has something weird or special about it that I think is awesome. This season so far is the season of rebirth, and all these quarterbacks doing so well in different situations, like Justin Fields leading the Steelers to a 3-0. And I watched some of that game on Red Zone. Like, Justin was throwing some good passes he hasn't thrown in Chicago. He completed 25 of 32 for 245 yards with touchdown interception. He's on pace to set career lows in sack rate, interception rate, time to throw, and off-target throw rates. And he's averaging 6.2 yards and a 0.07 ERA per scramble this season, when he averaged 9.2 yards and 0.69 per scramble last season. He's keeping it in the pocket. Malik Willis being reborn, and Matt LaFleur coaching Malik Willis up over these last 2 weeks to lead the Packers to a 2-1 record. And you've got Jordan Love coming back next week. So Malik gets to learn the playbook even more while he's sitting behind Jordan Love, because you never know if Jordan's going to go out again. You've got an even more coached up quarterback ready to step in, which I think is fantastic on all this. And shout out to Bo Nix getting a really good victory for a rookie quarterback against this Buccaneers team that looked like they were ready to come in and just stomp them. And the last thing is Andy Dalton. Look, I would not go back to Bryce. I stay with Andy. I ride with Andy. Let's see what happens, because that NFC South is a shit division. It is still winnable for the Panthers at 1-2. They're only one game out of first right now with a 1-2 record. And that those teams don't have, Cousins is old. Derek Carr is certainly can become a mental case when he's playing, because he gets the jitters. And so Dalton could have a real and Baker Mayfield may revert back to form. So I think if Andy keeps going and they have a good situation with Deontay Johnson, the Panthers could sneak into playoffs. And that's crazy to me.
I don't think so. That's asking a lot. And it's not because Andy Dalton isn't, like, Andy Dalton is good. He is not who he was in his prime. Okay. Andy Dalton is good. He went to the playoffs virtually every year he was with the Bengals. The issue was with Marvin Lewis. I like Marvin Lewis as a person. Marvin Lewis couldn't win a playoff game to save his life. There was the same thing that the Cowboys have done, always blowing people out in the regular season. But now when it's ride or die moment, like you blow it.
The sphincter gets tight. Yes.
And so Andy Dalton needs to put some respect on the Red Rifles name for sure. But the topic I kept alluding to over and over again, if we're kind of done talking about these other games, is
let's go. Let's get into it. Go ahead.
very specifically, and what kind of set me off, and I'd already been thinking this, but it was a tweet from Robert Griffin III who said, Sam Darnold in a stable environment with weapons is a damn good quarterback. Leads the NFL in passing touchdowns and has the Vikings at 3-0. Just further proof that more coaches and organizations in the NFL know how to mess up a quarterback than how to develop one. And I fully agree with this because the Jets, the reason why going to get a Brett Favre or an Aaron Rodgers, they've already earned their stripes. They know what they're doing. That is how you're going to be okay with a quarterback coming in, because everyone you've drafted, you've ruined. You ruined Geno Smith. Geno clearly had the talent to be pretty damn good. You ruined him. He went to an organization where Pete Carroll believed in him. He got to sit behind Russell for a minute, and now look at him. He's a starting franchise quarterback for them with a 3-0 team. Yes, they're playing a cupcake schedule right now, but the run he went on last year was magical. He went on like a 6-game run of like winning 5 out of those 6.
Sure.
Like, that's one. Baker Mayfield, the Browns ruined him.
Yeah.
And then he kind of shook some of that off a little bit in Carolina, but Carolina is also a dumpster fire of an organization.
Yeah.
Then ultimately ended up in Tampa Bay with a steady organization after just having Tom Brady there. And now look at him. Yeah. So you've got those are 2 great examples right there, because both of them, if you notice, started off, Geno and Darnold start off with the Jets ruined them, got sent down to Carolina, Carolina ruined them, and then they went on to do good things in other places with organizations that aren't ridiculous. And you could apply that to Vince Young. I think if he hadn't been so ruined, he would have actually been a really good quarterback, but what's his name? Fisher didn't even want him and did not protect him. RG3, we talked about already how badly he was ruined by it was Shanahan, right?
Mike Shanahan,
It was old. It was Papa Shanahan.
Yeah, Kyle's dad.
But Justin Fields, the Bears also ruined quarterbacks. I think Trubisky could have been a better quarterback if the Bears didn't ruin him, because he showed little flashes here and there in Pittsburgh, but it was too far gone at that point. I don't think he was good enough to really recover from that. And the proof with Justin Fields, you're allowing him to learn underneath Russell Wilson. You've got a strong coach that knows how to coach his players, and Mike Tomlin, and believes in his players. And look how he's balling out of control. And even Tua, when he's not, out in outer space from the number of concussions he's taken, you look at what Brian Flores and just kind of what's going on in Miami. They're also not super great at developing quarterbacks, because Tannehill was like kind of okay, but then wasn't. But you brought in a McDaniel who was able to turn the culture around and tell him how much I believe in you, and look at how well he's been playing when he's been able to be on the field. So I think there is something that has to be said about Patrick Mahomes would not be Patrick Mahomes if he did not luck out to be with an organization in the Chiefs that were stable, and have a coach like Andy Reid to truly mentor him to greatness.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with Brady. I know people want to go back and forth. Was it Brady? Was it Belichick? They needed each other. And you had Belichick instill some things in him before he became his own man to make him Tom Brady. Like having an organization have their head on straight in a solid coaching system is so undervalued, because we just like to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think if Bryce Young did not have that put on his shoulders, if Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, a lot of these guys do have the intangibles that if they had been put in a better situation, not just asked to make magic happen instantly, we would be talking about them differently.
I think that you can't make, I can't make a blanket statement like that. I think there are too many X factors involved, because look, Aaron Rodgers is thriving now in the same Jets organization that was a dumpster fire. The same Carolina Panthers organization. Andy Dalton just won a pretty comprehensive victory over the Raiders and a tough defense from Antonio Pierce's team. And so you see, and look at Jayden Daniels. I mean, Washington is not known for being a great quarterback factory, but yet here's Jayden Daniels stepping in, doing well. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. It's only 3 games in, but he's playing well. To me, it's, can I see it in your eyes, right? Right now, listen, I mean, it's not like Malik is throwing or Darnold. They're not throwing for 340 yards a game, right? I think the coaches, and this is where where you have some strong reasoning, is that smart coaches know how to adjust a playbook to fit the strengths and the weaknesses of their quarterback. Crappy coaches don't know how to adjust. LaFleur has adjusted his offense completely with Malik, and Malik has taken to it like a duck to water. It's been fantastic. Mike Tomlin has gotten incredible production from an array of shitty quarterbacks since Ben Roethlisberger retired, And now he's putting it to motion with Justin Fields. Justin is listening. Tomlin has the pedigree, so he can get through to him. And here with Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold in the Vikings, this is good. We're still early. So for right now, I think this is all great. And I would love for it to keep up, because you're right, because there's nothing better than an underdog story or people counting you out or you being in a shitty situation and somehow you land in the right situation and you get to flourish. People forget Alex Smith. Everyone thought he was a bust till Andy Reid got a hold of him and turned him around. Or not Andy Reid, Harbaugh got a hold of him and turned him around. Trent Green wasn't that great till Andy Reid showed up. So there's a number of quarterbacks that kind of struggled, and then the right coach came along and understood how to use them. So I think there's a lot of validity to what you're saying. I can't 100% blanket agree, but I think for the most part, you're nailing it on the head.
It sounds like we're, for the most part, on the same page. The one pushback counter argument you gave me, and I would reiterate what my point was specifically with him, is you were like, well, you can't say that because look what Aaron Rodgers is doing with the Jets. But again, what I specifically said is, if these organizations are dumpster fires the way that they are, if they really don't know what they're doing, if your coaching staff doesn't work, a 21, 22-year-old who is now a professional and the whole world is on your shoulders, there is a difference between, Rocha, if you walk in as a veteran, you know what you're doing already.
Right.
You're not going to take the coach's bullshit. You're going to have your own wisdom on how to do certain things. Aaron already has won how many MVPs, is a champion that, like, he's only going to take so much shit. And he even called the shots to go get the coach he wanted on the offense to like help him do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's different, because to that point, I really hope that, like, I think that there could be something to be said about Zach Wilson, because again, there were moments where little flashes showed up, but that organization is so in disarray. The kid's confidence just got rocked and ruined and rocked and ruined. And you just have to hope that there isn't psychological, like, PTSD scarring left on you that you can essentially get back to a place that a Gino is able to do it, or Baker, or any of the dudes we were talking about.
Well,
I don't think vets count, because, like, vets going into those situations already have the wherewithal.
You might be right. Maybe have a leg up, to understand how to work the right parts of the offense that work for them as quarterbacks. That's probably a fair point, right?
Is Zach Wilson in Denver?
Yeah, Zach Wilson's in Denver. Second or third string. Yeah. That is not the right coach for. Yeah, Sean Payton is not the right coach for Zach Wilson. But I also think, look, this is a man's game. This is no different than going into the work atmosphere. If you can't adapt to the work culture and you can't thrive in the work culture coming out of college, you're not going to survive at that job, and you're going to bounce around till you can handle the job. Some kids come in, brother, and they can't handle it. It's got nothing to do with coaching. And some kids come in and they can't handle it, and it's got something to do with coaching. I think it's always a case-by-case basis. And I think it does come. Look at Jaden. Jaden has devoured the playbook to the point where he looks supremely confident in his third game on Monday Night Football, by the way, a worldwide audience. And he is so relaxed. Some kids just have that within them and some don't. But you can coach the ones that don't if they have the talent within them.
I would never take away the thing that makes certain players special.
I
can give you that. There is something to be said about that. And I also think there is a difference in, like, Johnny Manziel, for example, was a very troubled individual. Like, if you go and look at the documentary and the pressure of everything that was happening and the fame and the money and all that, full on burnout. And then that's its own level of issue, like, including all the partying he was doing, etc. So, like,
because he didn't study the playbook, he didn't commit to, his own fault too. Yeah.
But I'm looking at who we have called essentially busts in the last decade and a half. And look at the difference in how a lot of them go, even to the point where, like, Minshew obviously did not do very well this game, but even how he was doing decently to start things off here.
The fact
and it's because you're not in Jacksonville anymore.
Yeah.
Because that, again, just things aren't, and I don't know if it's specifically the city that they're in that there's too many distractions. Right. I don't know if it's the organization has a shitty owner or front office that's doing stuff, or if it's the coaching.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it's a combo that it keeps happening to that city. I genuinely think that Caleb Williams would be the number one draft pick we thought he would be if Chicago wasn't infamous for ruining quarterbacks. I genuinely think that they are setting this kid up for failure again. And I think that Bryce Young, that was the worst place he could have gone especially being an undersized quarterback.
Yeah.
Like he really needed to have somebody guide him through his fundamentals, build up his confidence, and that clearly was not the case when coaches are in like a revolving door, man.
Yeah. But there are, I mean, look at the kid from New England, right? Went in there. You have Bill Belichick, the great quarterback whisperer, and he couldn't get the job done. And now
Matt Jones.
Was that his name? Mac Jones. Mac Jones. Yes. Like, that's a bust.
The only thing is, though, remember, Belichick is a defensive specialist. He is not a quarterback whisperer.
Yeah, but I mean,
and it's very clear by that point. I think there was too many riffs with him and Kraft. I think he was kind of over the situation, and I think that was maybe just about a bad scouting situation where I think Mac Jones was maybe overhyped, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
I think so too.
That's also a lot to live up to. You have to come in and follow the act of Tom Brady.
Yeah,
that's Bernie Mac went on as not as the headliner, but just a dude before the headliner. Now you got a headline and be like, what the fuck? Like, come on.
Beat that. All right, tell me what your situation is, brother, because we got some Streamlabs super chats. Can you hang for a few more minutes?
Yeah, because let me double check. I think I told you whatever time that going was.
But let's rip through these.
Okay, let's rip through them.
Yeah, let's rip through them. So we'll skip the other stories. Let's just rip through the questions and we'll get out of here. JMB says the always great John Rocha and Winston A. Marshall, simul streaming Outlaw Nation and Game Time channel. No questions, just some love. Yeah, we got 120 of you all joining us live. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the Outlaw Nation. We do this simulcast every once in a while. This is to promote the Game Time channel. I have a sports channel called Game Time. Winston and I do this show every week live on that channel. Would love it if you subscribe to that channel. Just type our names in Game Time. It'll pop up. And just subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're at 680 something. We'd love to get to 1,000 so we can monetize the channel and do more content there on the channel. So please support us there if you can.
Please.
Doomco says, love the show. Have hope for my Broncos future, even though it'll be a years-long rebuild. Glad our throwback unis are back this year. Yeah, I like the uniforms. They look good.
Throwback.
Yeah, I love the throwbacks, man. Only the Pittsburgh B ones didn't work for me, but all the other throwbacks are really nice to see. Even that orange one for the Buccaneers, for God's sakes. Mr. Penguin says, I bet my friend $20 at the beginning of the season saying Chiefs will make it 3 times in a row to the Super Bowl, and he bet me they won't. Was that a smart bet? LOL.
That's essentially the Chiefs versus the field. That's a rough bet. That's why when you do that type of shit with like a casino, you get paid out significantly higher what you bet in, because the odds are highly stacked against you just by the nature of you're claiming, what is it, 32 teams, 32, 30?
31, 31 other teams, yeah.
Well, but so just cut that in half. So you're saying that you're going to beat out 16 other teams in the AFC to make it to the Super Bowl, and that takes into account injuries, strength of schedule. There's so many factors there. So you should get paid like $100 if you get it.
Yeah.
And he gets $20.
Right.
I saw a smart bet my ass.
Right.
He gets $20 if he wins, because that's not fair. That's not fair.
John says smart bet because it's not his money. Daniel San says, didn't know you was Washington fan, John. How do you feel when they changed the name to so badass like the Redskins? Heard Native Americans want the name back. So let's address those real quick. I was happy with the name change. I never had an issue with the name change because guess what? They're never going to take away my memories. They're never going to take away the stuff I had and the things I enjoyed. And at a time now when we need to be more and more aware and conscientious of people, I had no problem change it to. I'm not a fan of the Commander. I'm coming around with the Commanders. Wasn't a fan of the choice. Would have liked other choices, but I don't want to see us put the Redskins back on. That's ridiculous. And those Native American studies were done by Dan Snyder. He paid some of these people to say certain things, allegedly. So to me, I don't buy any of that stuff. Native Americans are actually very awesome people. My girlfriend's half Native American. They're very forgiving people, strong people. But just because they're being nice doesn't mean you shouldn't do the right thing as well. So, and I think the right thing is to keep the name change. I don't ever want to go back. I don't need to go back. We won I'm having fun. There's no reason to change it. Mike Joyce says, Shy Sock's about to break the loss record. Oh, yeah. Right on. That's a shame. That's a shame.
Oh no. You don't ever want to be remembered for stuff like that.
No. All right. Fantastic says, hey, game time. In case I missed the show, I wanted to say as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I've entered the quote, I remember when I used to remember when phase of my fandom, maybe next year. Wow. Winston.
Oh God. I don't like, I've said this multiple times, man. I think the saddest part for me, I didn't really care about football like that when I was a kid. So I didn't appreciate those moments when we had the triplets. Truly, I would go to games like when my family wanted to go and I would cheer. I was like, hey, we won. But I just was in this mindset of like, yeah, we just win Super Bowls. This is what we do. That's just how the Cowboys are. So like, the thing that sucks is now that I give a shit, we can't even get to the damn NFC title game, bro. God damn it.
Welcome to being a fan, man. The worst, as a kid, I loved my skins, and we were winning Super Bowls, but try spending 30 years waiting for those days to come back. It is a rough existence, I am Two Fly Cam says, is that trash time Dak I see? It sure is. Putting up points and yards to make a blowout at home less embarrassing. LOL. Micah is overrated as can be. Crosby, Garrett, Bosa, and Watt all in a different class in that phony. Go Seahawks 3-0. Cowgirls suck. Now, do you feel bad defending Geno Smith when you've got Seahawks fans like this just tearing apart your Cowboys, man?
I mean, I didn't say that the Seahawks were going to do anything.
Of course not.
But you think you put respect on their name. There's a lot better teams in the NFC, but they can talk all the trash they want. I have openly said that we're bad. Like, and again, I don't put that on Dak. Like, if you even look, he's only got 2 interceptions so far in the 3 games. One of them was he was trying to force it because he was feeling the pressure of how badly we're getting our ass whipped by New Orleans. The other one that also happened again in the New Orleans game, the receiver straight up tripped, and then he got intercepted, and you saw him screaming like, and the fact that we're seeing a different Dak now that this man is paid, where like Stephen A. Smith was like, man, Dak always plays the good guy, like he really needs, but then today he had a statement. He was like, nah, we've been trash. I need everybody to do a lot effing better. This is bullshit. And that is what you want to see out of your quarterback. If this is how you're going to play, hell yeah, get in their motherfucking face and be like, it's time to go.
Yeah. I love Antonio Pierce afterwards after the Raiders lost saying, some of my players made business decisions for themselves.
You know what he's talking about, right?
So we're going to make business decisions in the week coming up. I was like,
what does that mean?
No. Was he talking about Max Crosby? Who was he talking about?
No. That's what I'm saying. Fucking Devontae Adams is like, I'm done. That is what that's alluding to. Is he's like,
really?
nah, bitch. Dude, Devontae don't want to be there. Devontae is done.
Yeah. Well, just sit him like years ago, Chucky, what's his face, did to Keyshawn Johnson. Sat him during the whole Super Bowl year. Didn't even let him get a ring at the end. It was great. John Gruden, when he sat Keyshawn Johnson the whole year because he bitched and moaned about being on that team. Mike Joyce says, I have Caleb Williams, AJ Brown, David Njoku, and Deebo Samuel on my fantasy team. How screwed am I? Well, unless you pick up waiver wire, bitch. You better pick up their backups.
This is where I understand the frustration that a lot of people are having as far as this goes. But this is where being a truly good drafter comes into play. It sucks if your entire starting lineup. I saw somebody they had what Jordan Love, CMC, AJ Brown, like literally the whole list except for the defense was out. Even the kicker, they had Gano. Even the kicker ended up like going to groin. So like everybody was out, right? But that is exactly where what are you doing? Yeah. How was the rest of your draft? Were you aware of other players? And like you said, did you go and get backups? Because let me look at one of my teams real fast. So you can go to the next question.
Okay. This is from Sean Brennan. He says, sorry I was late, guys. I'm sorry I missed Winston talking about the phantom roughing the passer call, the stupidity of Atlanta not kicking a field goal, and the fact they got the ball back and still got stuffed. He talked about that, right? Just checking. Wow.
Wow.
Sean has moved the blood.
Why is it at me? Why is the blood feud on me when you were the one talking the most shit? This is bullshit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man, dude.
I thought the roughing the passer was fair. I actually didn't think that was a phantom call. He threw him to the fucking ground. The Atlanta pass interference one, that one I think might have a little credibility there. Cinna_Matic said, you guys, biggest surprise team so far this season. PS been watching since the Schmodown days. Glad to you guys still out here repping and talking about sports as well. Well, thank you for watching, Sinos Cormatic. Yeah, biggest surprise team? I mean, I don't want to play favorites and say my Commanders, so I'd have to say the Vikings. 3-0 with Sam Darnold. That has to be a massive.
It would have been the Saints if they hadn't gotten embarrassed this week, but it's the Vikings for sure. I don't even think it's close. The only other one that I would say is maybe in the opposite effect, probably the tie between the Cowboys and the Niners, and I would actually put it more on the Niners because the Cowboys are doing the same shit that they did last year again with no run game and no run defense. It's exactly the same.
Right.
The Niners, I understand you have injuries, but you brought this whole thing back. You were in the Super Bowl. Your quarterback hasn't regressed.
Yeah.
Why did you lose to both the Vikings and the Rams, let alone the way you lost to the Rams?
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't make sense. Steelers might be the last one, but the Steelers always kind of do this. You know
Tomlin always has a way of doing this, doesn't he?
Tomlin loves to go
there. Yeah,
Fields is surprising. The Steelers no, but Fields is. So just for like one of the teams that I have, bro, Joe Mixon out from being injured, Deebo Samuel out, Jordan Love out, Jordan Addison out, and then I picked up Jonathan Brooks in the draft to just sit on my IR slot because I was like, I really do think he's going to come in and do work, bro. So and on top of that, I have Amon-Ra Brown on this team as well, and his ass was kind of in out, and I also have Sam Laporta, and Sam Laporta got injured. They don't even know he's going to play. Like injuries going to happen, but how are you going to evolve, baby?
Exactly. You got to evolve. I would say the other side for me is the Bengals being 0-3 because Derek's no excuse to losing to the Patriots and the Commanders. The Chiefs I can accept, but the Patriots and the Commanders, that's a tough start, and I'm pretty surprised they're 0-3. I thought 2-1 for sure. Let's see. Okay. So there's Shy Sox. Okay, and then one more, and then we get out of here. Because I know you got to go. Where is it? Here it is. Danielson says, I'm a Bears fanboy, wanted Fields to stay, and well, he's 3-0 and playing way better. And Caleb, it was the O-line and coaching malpractice there. Yeah. And look, Caleb threw for almost 300 yards, I think, in the loss there. So maybe slowly but surely he is figuring this thing out. We got to give him a whole year.
That was the thing that I was like kind of looking at is that specifically with him. Let me go to him just to kind of take a look at these games. I mean, the numbers aren't going to be the same as the eye test and actually seeing what he's doing. But we've said this, that O-line is atrocious. I don't care how many weapons you put around him. If he doesn't have a moment to think, then what are you going to do? But he terrible opening game, only 93 yards, 14 for 29. So the defense bailed you out. And then the game against Houston, 23-37 for only 174. But last time he had to throw the ball 52 times.
Yep.
That's not normal.
Yeah, no.
Not normal. You're asking a rookie to do what? Of course he's going to throw 2 interceptions off of that shit because you asked him to throw the ball 52 times.
Yeah.
Dude, Chicago sucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the Bears fans, but you are not setting up your young quarterbacks for success, and Caleb will only be a bust if you allow him to be. I don't feel like he's playing that poorly as much as the team is not putting him in the position to win.
Yeah, and if you look at the running backs, is DeAndre Swift already washed? I mean, 13 carries for 20 yards against this Colts.
I think that's the line. I go back to because Swift wasn't he in Philly last year?
No, yes, and then before that, Detroit. Yes.
It is 1,000% the line, man, because
good point.
Both your rushing and your passing are terrible. Yeah. And someone just said, I think they've already got 2 linemen on IR. So you bro.
Yeah. Yeah. 363 yards and 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So look, a rookie quarterback throwing for 363 yards, that's promising. So you got to figure out so this is where it comes down to coaching. Okay. Our O-line is shitty. We're having trouble getting the ball down the field. Our running game isn't going. What do we need to do? Do some coaching, start adjusting. This is the thing. Great coaches are paid to adjust. Sean McVay adjusted, missing almost entire receiving core. He adjusted with Matt Stafford against those 49ers. He called 2 tight end sets, almost more than he's called in his entire career for any game. That's what a good coach does. That's why you're paid the millions of dollars, is to not just coach the team as it comes out first string. It's also to coach the team to adjust things when your first strings go out or get hurt. That's how it works.
Rocha, to make it even worse, it's not just the two linemen are there, but you lost a tackle. I think he was their left tackle, but then you lost your starting center.
Yeah.
The one thing a rookie quarterback needs is that center to help guide you. Hey, watch out for this. Hey, whatever. Like that is why Kelce and Jeff Saturday and these guys are revered, is because they were able to help guide their young quarterbacks into success. So oh boy,
100%, brother, 100%. All right, let's wrap it up there. Once again, I know we're over time here, so we gotta shut it down. You gotta get going. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you all madly. We try to do it. We usually try to do a 90-minute show, so this one just kind of went a little bit over because there's a lot to discuss. Thanks for the lively chat. Thanks for the Streamlabs and the super chats. Please remember, as I said, the Game Time Sports Channel is where we do this every week. Every once in a while, we'll simulcast here on Outlaw Nation, but it lives on the Game Time Sports Channel. So if you want to watch us every week, please subscribe to that channel. I'll put the address in the description as well. You guys can go and subscribe to the channel and support it and get us to 1,000 subscribers. And we'll be doing more content there as well. And Winston, thank you so much. Another fun show. Where can they find you and what you got going on, brother? Man.
You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred on all platforms, but especially here on YouTube. As soon as we wrap up here, I got some business to take care of. But then I've got a Blurred Breakdown coming out tomorrow. An update on Diddy, the Janet Jackson scandal. There's just a lot of stuff going on to talk about, let alone it sounds like we might have Kyle Chandler as our Hal Jordan, which I'm kind of here for, to be honest with you. So talk about a lot of good stuff over there on the Blurred Breakdown tomorrow. It should be out by noon. So come join me over there, youtube.com/swaggyblurred.
Yeah, be careful, everybody. Be careful and pay attention to what this man's doing, for God's sakes. Get on top of it. The man's blowing up. Get on top of it. Watch his stuff. Subscribe to his stuff. Get on his stuff, for God's sakes.
Thank you.
If not, I'll send P. Diddy with 1,000 bottles.
Oh, my God. Don't. Jesus Christ.
As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch.
I heard if you say his name 3 times, he appears.
I believe
the third time you do it, all of a sudden he goes, and then he just kind of appears. Like, as a matter of fact, have you seen the TikToks where there was always that dude popping up behind you? They've started putting Diddy on you. It would be like you're putting on, whenever you're like putting on like beard oil or something like that, and then Diddy shows up.
Those are the best. Diddy, the Diddy memes, the Diddy videos have been the best. I can't get enough of them, for God's sakes. They are my favorites. Do I have one for you? Yeah, here it is. All right, hold on. Just to end the show, we'll go to this one. This is amazing.
And yes, 59-year-old Chandler, because they specifically wanted an older Hal Jordan, so that works perfectly for me.
Yeah,
I agree. You give me Coach Taylor meets the FBI agent from Wolf of Wall Street. I think that's a perfect casting.
Am I going to get a strike for this? I might get a strike for this one.
What are you playing? I don't know what you're playing.
The best. All right, thanks everybody. Follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Please also subscribe to the Outlaw Nation down below, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of Game Time. Peace. Until then, everybody. Bye.